Hey y'all, boys in the back rooms here. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
They definitely want to be here. Anyway, today marks Thomas's 80th anniversary, and if you know me, that means it's a very special day. Thomas was and still is my jam, my favorite show ever. And Go Airplane was also a Thomas fan at some point, wrong franchise.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we are going back 10 years to the special The Adventure Begins. I half-heartedly believe this is the best starting point for Thomas, maybe rivaled by the first few episodes, but we'll see what I think about that at the end. Speaking of starting points,
This is my first exposure to Thomas and Friends.
with that in mind, we'll each give individual reviews and give you our mean number at the end. If you don't know math, that's just the average number of all of our ratings. The scale is 1 to 10, by the way.
The structure is surprisingly solid for someone who doesn't really enjoy Thomas and Friends. It's a retelling of early Thomas stories, so it sticks to a clear beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't waste time or drag. It gets into the action pretty quickly, I'd say. I'd say it flows pretty nicely, especially for a younger audience, which I think this is directed towards. And the pacing of the plot keeps things moving without overwhelming anyone. Thomas is obviously the star of the movie. He's super likable here, honestly. Way more humble and relatable than he is sometimes in later episodes of the show, or at least from what I remember.
Time's time, he grumbled. Why should I keep my passengers waiting while Henry and James dawdle about all day on viaducts? Don't blame me, snorted Henry. If we hurried across the viaduct, it might collapse, and then you'd have no passengers at all. What would you do then? Run my train on time, for one thing.
Edward, I think, deserves a gold star from the supportive older engine. We love James. James is never mind. We don't like James. He's loud, vain, and entertaining. Gordon, he's a grumpy pants, but that's kind of his charm, I guess. To some people, at least. I'd say my least favorite is probably Henry. I don't know why. He just seems kind of flat. The fat controller, though, GOAT. He's calm, energetic, and it just works in the movie. If I'm being honest, not everything is perfect, so here's some of my low points. Some scenes felt like they were just kind of there to fill time, like some sort of shunting yard stuff. Also, Henry's story arc felt a little bit rushed. I feel like it could have had a little bit more emotional payoff, if you guys know what I mean. The animation, it was pretty good, but it had some weird lighting in places. I feel like animators could have put a little bit more effort into it. It's not terrible, but it did stand out in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so here's some of my high points. The animation, when it does work, it looks fantastic. It looks vibrant and detailed. Updated visuals are kind of the old school Sodor's or Chef's Kiss sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying there, but favorite scene is probably Thomas proving himself by saving James. It's like an underdog moment, and it really hits, I think. Also, the narration is top notch. Mark Morgan, or however you say that, I looked that up. Yes, he kills it with the delivery. It's nostalgic, but pretty fresh too.
A long time ago on the island of Sodor, there was a little railway known as the Northwestern.
I do have some other thoughts. It's just really cool to see the original stories brought to life with modern animation. If you grew up on old Thomas, it's a nice nostalgia trip, If you're new to it, it's a great intro. It balances charm and heart really well without getting too cheesy, I'd say. So for my final rating, I'm going to give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good watch. It's genuinely fun, respectful of the source, and honestly a great watch whether you're 6 or 66, 26, I don't know.
Alright guys, howdy do. I'm gonna talk about Thomas and The Adventure Begins. So me personally, the structure of the movie, I'd say it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a little too good. Okay, well it was good guys. Let's see, characters. My favorite character honestly is Henry. I mean, I kinda like his thing. His whole spiel, I liked how he's introduced and stuff. I'd say my least favorite character is probably personally, I don't think any of the characters were honestly terrible. I'd say James, maybe they could have worked a little better with. I guess I'd say that much. I mean, Henry, I know some people would probably say Henry, but like Henry's kind of one of my favorite characters, to be honest. Low points, well, that I already covered. High points, let's talk about high points. I very much enjoyed like the moment where James was like on the run. That was pretty action-packed and fun. I liked the music, like how they redid the music. That was fun to me. And honestly, my final rating, I'd have to give it.
Hey y'all, Supersonic Ninja here. Happy 80th to Thomas and Friends. And now let's review. Due to the fact I have the most experience in the Thomas department, I'll be basing most of my review by comparing it to the model series. Edward and Gordon happens first, and right off the bat, I prefer the models. Okay, listen, I am a model guy, so this may seem a bit unfair, but the model version also includes Edward's Day Out, the first Railway series story, but was cut out of the special, and granted, I see why, it was a little boring. And yeah, Edward pushing Gordon up the hill was clearly the main focus from the start, so yep, that's really all we need to know. Before I move on, obviously, model series wins. Next comes the sad story of Henry. I'll be skipping the introduction of Thomas for now to get in order, I'm sorry. Okay, next happens the sad story of Henry, and the models win again. I'm sorry, but in the model series, Henry was just being a selfish little prick. He did not want his precious green paint and red stripes to get all rained. I don't even know what the rain could have done. Was he like newly painted or something? So, in the CGI series, what is he? He's just a coward. He's literally scared of the rain. A slanderization of the century, folks. As for Edward, Gordon, and Henry, it is set in a line of dialogue in the actual movie, so obviously the models win again, but at least the impatient TikTok girls can now know Henry left the tunnel, so props to Brenner, I suppose. Then starts the meat and potatoes. I skipped over Thomas' intro, and I love it. It was done way better here than it was in the models. With the LBSC paint and the really useful engine segment, I absolutely love it. Then Thomas learns about Henry in the tunnel and wakes up to the first episode of the original TV series, Thomas and Gordon, and this version is just stunning. This is again something I prefer the special for, because with all the effects and the music, it's just amazing. It feels more like you can feel exactly what Thomas is feeling. It is truly amazing. There's not much I can say there. After that happens Thomas's train, which might be one of my least favorite scenes in the movie, unfortunately. Thomas runs off without the coaches and goes halfway across the island. Now, in the model series, Thomas does the same thing, but at least there it seems like he did it for 2 minutes, considering the calmer music and the less, the lack of quality. It's not lack of quality, but, there's clearly a lot more quality in The Adventure Begins, and it feels a lot more grand, and makes it seem like Thomas was going for a lot longer than he actually was. It could just be me, but with all those in there, Thomas seems like he's gone for a couple hours before coming back, and I don't know. I just like the model series version way more of this story. So, okay, before we talk about Thomas in the truck, can we just talk about how smooth the transition between the two stories were? Thomas is being made fun of in the sheds this time, and is and then Edward offers to pull the train. Those are two separate events in the Mall series, the end of Thomas's train and the start of Thomas and the trucks. But here it's combined and perfectly. If you didn't see the original model series and just saw the scene, you may have never known that transition happened. And that's how good that is. Anyway, I'd say Thomas and the Trucks, in terms of which one's better, is a really hard choice because they're both really good at telling the story they're telling. Thomas isn't careful with the trucks and pays for it. I'd say maybe the movie version actually wins due to the fact Edward gets punished too. But again, in terms of the truck sequence mostly, I'd say they're on equal terms. One of them has the Troubles and Trucks vocal song, and one of them just has Thomas and the Trucks theme. And oh my god, I love that theme, but can't have them all, can we? Well, see, I guess the Troublesome Trucks song is a lot more iconic, so I get it. So yeah, before we talk about Thomas and the breakdown train, let's talk about the scene with Henry. Henry is scared, and Thomas has to get him out of the shed. Henry should have been changed. I don't know what happened to Henry in this movie. Like, bro got flanderized so hard. I don't like it. I really don't like it. Henry is a prick. He's not supposed to be like. You know what? I'll give the scene this. Thomas is completely in character for where he is at his story. So, yeah, Thomas is perfectly in character, and I'd say it's a really good Thomas scene. And I would like to say it's a good scene, but when one of the two characters are just plain awful flanderization, I really can't. I don't like this scene. Maybe it's worse than the Thomas's train scene, to be completely honest. There's no Mall series version of this, so yeah. Of course, Wilbur Audrey probably would scoff if he saw this scene, like, what the hell? Anyway, let's talk about Thomas and the breakdown train. So, Thomas and Edward are working in the yard when danger strikes. James has lost control and Thomas is racing after him, and the scene always gives me chills, and this doesn't happen in the Mall series. Yeah, it doesn't. And I see why. Thomas's arc in the Mall series and his arc in the CGI series are actually really different. They both go through the same stories. But Thomas in the CGI series, or the special, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, the CGI series is, screw you, you can call me Knuckles, unlike Sonic Iron Chuckle. Wrong reference. Anyway, despite all the things about the Mall series, a lot of the time having the edge over this special, I really love it, this special. I'd say this is the best way, even better than the start of the Mall series, to start watching Thomas. This is like the greatest introduction you can have to the franchise. I will stand by that. So, yeah, I'd say overall the movie is a 9 out of 10. Could damn well be a top 20 movie. Wait, they're using Railway series image for the credits? Bump that up to 9.5 now.